justice, race issues, police reform. New York Daily News columnist
Shaun King.
From our radio station studios in New York, Shaun King, good morning.
Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Sybil. I want to tell you all this morning about something amazingly powerful that's happening all over the country with America's youth. In 34 states, with at least 44 high schools, 21 colleges, 2 youth sports leagues, brilliant, bold, courageous, young student athletes all over the country, ranging from football players to cheerleaders to volleyball players and marching bands, are all taking a knee during the Star-Spangled Banner to protest police brutality and racial injustice in America. Of all the parallels between the Civil Rights Movement and the Black Lives Matter movement, nothing reminds me more of what happened in the 60s than seeing the courage of America's youth staging demonstrations all over this country. It's a beautiful thing. For them, and perhaps because the world that they live in has not yet squeezed all of their hope and optimism, or maybe because they know they have far more time left on the earth than most of us do, they each feel like taking a knee is a risk worth taking. Beautifully, they still believe this country can change. Hell, that's what we taught them, that the United States has had high highs and low lows, but after real struggles, it can change. But this morning, I want to tell everybody about one particularly bold, brave group of 11 and 12-year-old boys in Beaumont, Texas, and the adults that have absolutely failed these young kids. Of all the protests across America, from Colin Kaepernick and 45 other NFL players, to women in the WNBA, to professional soccer players and swimmers and brothers in the NBA, no athletes in America have paid a higher price for their protest than the 11 and 12-year-old boys of the Beaumont Bulls football team in Beaumont, Texas. Beaumont's it's situated smack in the middle between Houston in the west and Lafayette, Louisiana to the east. And it's one of the many Texas towns where people just live and breathe football. Many families in Beaumont have been playing the game for generations. It's just what you do. Several brothers from Beaumont have gone on to play in the NFL. Now, when we think about injustice, we often think about the NYPD or the LAPD, or sometimes we think of Mississippi or Alabama. But police brutality and wrongful arrest and racial violence have long since plagued black folk in Texas and Louisiana. Alton Sterling was killed in Baton Rouge. Sandra Bland died right outside of Prairie View. And some of our listeners this morning may remember when white supremacists lynched James Byrd in Jasper, Texas, back in 1998. James and his family were actually from Beaumont. That tells you a little bit about the town. So within days of Kaepernick staging his protest back in August, the coaching staff of the Beaumont Bulls, which is an all-black team with an all-black coaching staff led by their head coach, Ra Barber, they started talking about the possibility of them taking a knee before their next game, and then they decided against it. The coaches, they didn't want to impose anything on the students, but to their surprise, the young boys came to them and told the coaches they wanted to take a knee. The shooting deaths of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile at the hands of police this summer had not only shaken Colin Kaepernick and the Beaumont Bulls coaching staff, it bothered the young boys on the team as well. So on September 10th, after getting permission from the league, the staff and the students, all of the boys on the Beaumont Bulls football team took a knee before their game. And we'll post the pictures of their protest on Black America Web. But the boys won that game 27-0. They garnered national attention for their demonstration, but within 24 hours, they began receiving death threats, racist taunts both online and off. People literally began threatening to lynch, hang, and burn these little boys. At first, the executive board of the team and the league issued strong statements of support backing the boys, but within a few days, everything fell apart. First, the coaches were told not to allow the boys to take a knee again. When Coach Barber and the boys refused the order, they suspended their head coach for the rest of the season. Many parents told me that they were banned from the team and told that while their sons would be allowed to continue playing, the parents were no longer allowed to attend the games, practices, or events, and if they did, they'd be arrested. The kids were devastated and confused. An assistant coach for the team, a brother named Alfred Dean, who is also a 6-year Army veteran, by the way, who took a knee with the team as well. He decided it was just too much, and he submitted his resignation. Determined to play a game of chicken with these young boys, the executive board decided that instead of reinstating the coaches and allowing the protest, they'd simply cancel the rest of the season.
Wow.
And that's exactly what they did. The Beaumont Bulls, in spite of paying fees for a full season and being in the playoff race for their league, had the rug pulled out from under them. No sports team in the country has gone this far in response to Star Spangled Banner protest. Tom, these young boys and their coaches are heroes. Millions of people all over the country and around the world have seen their photos and read about their demonstration. I spoke with Colin Kaepernick yesterday, and he's grieved that these young boys have had to have football taken away from them and wants them back on the field. That narrow-minded adults have canceled their season and denied these young boys a chance to fight on is a travesty. It's immature and it's short-sighted of the team and league officials to allow it to all go down like this. What lessons does this teach our kids? What has it taught them about their right to protest? Listen, it's not too late. While the whole thing is a mess, the team and the league still have time to reinstate those coaches, apologize to the boys and the parents, and allow them to finish their season with dignity. I was about to say that what this really would require would be for adults to act like adults. But I'm afraid that that's what messed this whole thing up in the first place. Mm-hmm. Adults today are too often petty and mean-spirited. Just look at our presidential race. Instead, what we need are the adults in this situation to stop thinking about their egos and think about the young boys of the Beaumont Bulls. Let's salvage their season and make that our top priority. Boys, if you're hearing this, you've done well. You were right to take a knee for injustice. You were right to follow the lead of so many NFL players. And you were right to keep doing it even when they told you not to. You didn't create this mess. It's not your fault. We have your back, and whether you all start a new league or come back to this one, we'll be waiting for you. Take care.
Can we do anything, Shaun?
Absolutely. I'm talking to the parents and the coaches. Now, their preference is to come back and play in that league. And part of this commentary this morning is to put some pressure on the league officials and the team officials to just fix the situation and let the boys play this weekend. But if they can't, they're talking about maybe even starting their own league. And several NFL players have reached out as well. And so we'll keep people posted on Black America Web and on the show. And if they start a new league, we'll get behind them for sure.
Well, what about the powers that be? Can we email them? Can we call them? Can we put pressure?
Absolutely. Let's put some pressure on them. We'll post some stuff on Black America Web today. I'll tweet the links. You all can tweet it, and I'll make sure we get their contact information so we can put some pressure on them.
We're on in Beaumont. They're listening. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And what's the coach's name is Ra Barber?
Yeah, Ra Barber. Good
I
dude,
like
man.
that name.
And see, what people don't understand is these guys they're not being paid for this, man. And these guys are like heroes and father figures to these boys. And the coaches are kind of equal parts frustrated and devastated that it came to this. And it's
the whole
season
canceled?
Yeah, man. Yeah, they canceled their season. The boys had a winning record. They were in the playoff hunt. Even though they made them forfeit the last game, they weren't able to play their last game. And so even with that last loss, they're still in the playoff hunt. So they need to get them back on the field. Get those boys back on the field.
Give me some names and email addresses,
numbers, yeah.
and let's put some pressure on these people.
Absolutely, I'll get it to you right away.
Okay. And if you want to participate, we'll have all the information on blackamericaweb.com, or you can text us at 646464. Good job, Shaun King.